everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Conversation Station. This episode, we're going to be talking about Batman the Brave and the Bold, a DCU film that's been talked about for quite a while and everybody's super excited for. We're going to talk about Robert Pattinson's place in the DCU, and we're going to check out a couple of Batman comics that I have. James Gunn actually announced the project back in January of 2023 as the Chapter 1 of the Gods and Monsters slate. So people have been really excited for this all the way back since they've known about it. And with Superman's movie being already out, we just wonder when we're going to finally get the Caped Crusader. The only Easter egg in Superman being the little Gotham sign on the freeway as everybody was evacuating. So that was kind of cool to see that Gotham does obviously exist, and just a little point and a nod in the direction of we will get there someday. The movie is based on Grant Morrison's comic book run of Batman, and I think a lot of the fans are extremely excited for that. I personally haven't read any of these comic books from Grant Morrison, but I definitely will be on the hunt for them as soon as this movie comes out, and honestly just in the next couple of months. Now, Brave and the Bold centers heavily around Batman and his son, Damian Wayne. Now, this is his actual son. He's obviously had other Robins, but this Robin is a little bit different, being that this is his actual son. Damian is... I believe James Gunn is going to keep him true to the character of being basically a little pissant, kind of a thorn in Batman's side. Him and Batman have very obvious differences, and it becomes very evident in just the movements and the small conversations that Bruce and Damian have. James Gunn has also said he wants to go for a less campy Batman, so I think that honestly paints the way for a more serious tone, especially between him and Damian. He just won't be the comedic relief style Batman, more like the animated style Batman, in my opinion. And honestly, that to me sounds really good. Now, also, since the release of Superman, people were wondering, not wondering, James Gunn has stated from pretty far back that Robert Pattinson's Batman wasn't going to be a part of this new universe. It's going to be kind of an Elseworlds thing, which I'm really happy that it's set off to the side, because honestly, it doesn't even feel like it's set in the same universe. Robert Pattinson's Batman has to deal with a lot of corruption and evil within the government and systems and things like that, as well as gangs and prostitution and kind of more of the evil we see in reality.
The hell are you supposed to be? I'm vengeance.
So flying aliens and magical rings and things like that. Not to say that we won't see those things or get references to those things in Batman Part 2 or anything down the road, but I just don't think it fits as well into that universe as what they're trying to make it. Does that mean there'll never be any references to Robert Pattinson's Batman or anything like that with the whole multiversal thing happening? And you just never know. It could be. But as far as we know, he won't be the Batman that, is opposite David Cornswett's Superman. So, to see who they pick for that is definitely going to be interesting, as well as who they pick for Damian Wayne. The lack of information we have about this movie is one of the things that excites me, because we don't know what's going to happen. While you can read all those comics, you don't know which parts they're going to pick from and which storylines they're going to choose. So it's just awesome that so much of this movie is hidden, and it just makes for a great surprise later. One thing that James Gunn said is he's not really too worried about the suit design. While suit design is important, he's more worried about the character being rounded out and the story making actual sense to the rest of the story that's going on in the DCU. And honestly, I feel like the fans will appreciate that.
Should Batman have white eyes? That's a big subject of conversation.
Is it? That's a big combo?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it's guys, that's really what matters? But those are the things I care about. Should his utility belt be yellow? Should he have the yellow crest around the bat? Mm-hmm. All of that sort of stuff. And none of those things are what's most important to me.
No,
what
of course.
matters is the character, the story, and I think that we have a really, really good story now for what's happening with Batman.
Dude, I'm so.
But don't get me wrong, I'm sure he's going to pay plenty attention to the costume and everything that's set up, and I think he's going to pick the right one for whatever actor ends up donning the suit. But I do agree with him when he says that should just kind of play backseat to getting the character right and getting the right actor for the character. Because in the end, that's really what's going to make the longevity of the character and the person playing it matter and make actual sense to the movies. Also, I just wanted to say I'm super excited for this episode of Peacemaker coming up this Thursday. I'm going to be doing a live stream of my reaction of watching this last episode, since this is the last episode of the season. If you want to tune in and check that out, I'd be really appreciative of that. But honestly, I feel like we are overdue for a Batman movie. We need a Batman. We're ready for a Batman. The first little look we got at Batman was in Creature Commandos, and that was just a silhouette. So to see where we go from here is just nothing but excitement and fun. It's a character we all know and love, and to see who and how they get it on the big screen is just, you know, it's just going to be a ride. I mean, hopefully it feels like something that's, you know, been ripped right out of the comic pages, which is something that these guys are really good at doing. Now, I also have a couple of Batman comics that are The Brave and the Bold starring Batman, and I'm just going to show those off. Just 3 of them. I have Batman and the Green Lantern. I have Batman Brave and the Bold with the Spectre. This one was a really good story. I enjoyed that one. And then right here we have Batman and the Legion of Superheroes. This one was a really fun story. Batman actually travels into the future and he puts on a disguise. He just basically puts a blanket over himself and walks into the futuristic Hall of Justice using his code from a long time ago, which makes all the people kind of freak out. But his, you know, idea to basically hide himself is just to throw a blanket right on himself, which isn't really conspicuous, being that he's, you know, the smartest detective in the world. Brave and the Bold, Batman and Dr. Fate. All the Batman comics that I wanted to show off. I really appreciate any time you spent watching my videos. I'm really excited for Batman Brave and the Bold. I hope it's, you know, everything we've been expecting and more. I'm really excited for everything that's coming. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a live stream Thursday for Peacemaker, just on me and my reaction to it. If you want to check that out, that'd be awesome, or check it out later. Like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.